Let's talk about Tesla, stock symbol TSLA. The stock has dropped 55% since its all-time highs established late last year, and it's managed over the past couple of weeks to be able to rally 22% off of its lows. Now, you might think, man, that's a huge chunk of the gains that it's been able to make back. No, not really, because if you have more than a 50% drawback, you're going to have to make more than 100% back in order to get to where you were before. So 22%, I wouldn't necessarily call it a drop in the bucket, but it's not much more than that. So with it making a comeback, I did a video on this one, and I said, hey, there's some key support levels to be watching. It blew right through those. I mean, so they didn't even hold up at all. I mean, the selling was so ferocious. But late last week on Thursday, I saw that there was a huge skew of options flowing into the put side when it was already down in like the 220 range. And that didn't make sense to me. It felt like it was capitulating and that a short-term bottom at the very least might be in place. So what I want to do in this video is I want to go through the charts. I want to talk about where we're at right now because a lot of the support levels have failed, but some of them did not. And that's what I want to highlight. What support level eventually held up? That's what we're going to talk about in this video. So let's get to it right now. Now, do I think that Tesla's ultimately reached its bottom? There's a good chance it hasn't. There's still a likelihood if this market takes another leg lower, which is very possible, that Tesla's also going to follow suit and take a leg lower with it too. Now, Tesla has a history of marching to its own drummer, so at times it can run opposite of what the market's doing, but usually when the market's selling off, it's putting a lot of pressure on almost every other stock out there to do the same. So here's what didn't work. We talked about this huge decline. If we got down to this 200-day moving average, you had this rising trend line, this orange line right here, that could offer up some support. You had this purple line right here that goes back to this huge breakout that it had in late 2024. That did not hold on the retest. And when it pulled back and retested it, that didn't help. The Fibonacci retracements, that didn't help. So let's go ahead and start getting rid of this trend line. That didn't help. This purple line right here did not help. What about this long-term trend line right here that goes all the way back to 2022? Should have offered up some support. Did it? No, it blew right through it. Now we're right back above it. So we can go ahead and get rid of that one too. And then you have this particular breakout level going back to August of 2023. Did this level hold? Not a chance. So a lot of the support levels that were converging together that I thought, you know what, this may offer up a lot of support, it went right through it. And that's the thing about technical analysis, and I don't think a lot of people tend to grasp this. We tend to make technical analysis confirm what we want to happen, and that's just not the case. Support levels are meant to be broken just as much as they're meant to be held. And the question becomes, what is it telling us when they're broken, when they're held? In this case, it broke. There was a lot of weakness. There was extreme amounts of selling. You can see that with the volume and how strong the volume has been of late. But where it did end up finding some support, and we can go, and also this AVWAP, gone. So we can go ahead and get rid of that. But where it did find some support is at this level right here, at support at 216, 217 area. This was an area that I highlighted, and I was like, I mean, it might be some support there, but I didn't think it was much. But sure enough, that's where it found. So the most unlikely of outcomes was essentially had here, where it found support at the 217 area, bounced, and now we're 22% higher off of those lows. So that's the key support level going forward. So if we take another leg lower, this is going to be the major level that you want to watch. It's now been tested back in October and tested again here in March. If it fails, that's where you have the signal for the next leg to the downside. Also, what I want to point out is you have a declining trend line going all the way back to its all-time highs. If this bounce continues, and there's a very good chance of it considering how many people are short on the stock still, that it finds some resistance at the 335 level. That would be a substantial rally going from 278 currently to 335, or 217 off of its lows established earlier this month up to 335. There's some also other areas of resistance that I thought could be a significance. This one here, possible, but I don't think that it's nearly as important as this declining trend line. Also, this yellow line, don't think that that's as important either. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that one. We'll hold on to this green line just in case it does break through the 335. We'll want to pay attention to 361. But this is the main trend line that I would be paying the most attention to, and it's declining. So each day it goes by, the level of where it has to test gets even lower. So in a week from now, it may be around like 328. And if we get the downtrend where we get a rejection here at 335 and we start to push lower, and let's say we do actually break through this 217 support, what's the likelihood, or what's the next support level that we could be looking at? You have this rising trend line off of the 2020 lows, the big recession there. This has been tested on multiple occasions here. We had it tested in 2024, had it tested in 2023. We're far from it getting tested right now, but having established a higher high back in late December of last year, that could be the ultimate resting place for Tesla. So TSLA, if it pulls back to this 167 level, that's what I would be watching for a long-term buy. That's where I would probably get more interested from a long-term position. I don't think it's bad to be dabbling in TSLA right now. My wife even was asking me about it the other day. It's like, hey, maybe we should start a position in it. So I started one for her in her account, and so far so good. But I would watch to see what happens if it comes back down to this 160 area, and what it can do there, because multiple times it's been tested and it's held. That to me looks like the key support level from a long-term standpoint. So if we get another leg lower in the market, and right now that's not taking place because the S&P is also engaged in its own bounce. But if that bounce fizzles out and you start to see the Mag 7 stocks along with Tesla starting to pull back again, you want to watch this 217 support that it held just recently right here. And then if that breaks, this is where I'm targeting for long-term buys on TSLA. If you enjoyed this video, I'd encourage you to like and subscribe, and let me know down in the comments below, what is your take on Tesla stock? Are you looking to buy it? Are you looking to sell it? Or are you just riding this bounce right now? What is your take on the stock? I would love to hear what your ideal entry price is. Thank you guys, and God bless.